It's country night at IG Field, and the Bombers are back in the saddle. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video. We got is this game 5? I think this is game 5 of the season, because yes, it would be, because it's week 5. Week 5 of the season, Bombers against the Calgary Stampeders at home. The Bombers would win this game. I'm pleased that we're able to kind of extend some of the bits from last week. Bombers will win this game 24-11 over the Calgary Stampeders at home. There certainly was some issues with it, and there's some stuff that I'm starting to get a little bit concerned about, because there's some habits that I'm seeing the team develop a little bit that I'm a little concerned about. But I'm going to go through the whole game, and then we'll get to that. So pregame is It's Country Night at the Bomber game. You could buy yourself a Winnipeg Blue Bombers cowboy hat for the low price of $50. That's crazy. Those are cheap cowboy hats. Like, that's crazy. But a lot of people bought it, so I can't exactly blame them for charging that much. But yeah, country night for the Bombers. They actually had like one of those mechanical bull riding things outside. It was funny because I was walking into the game and I saw a bunch of drunk people falling off it. It was great. But anyways, let's get into the game. First quarter. So Calgary would go 2 and out to start the game. And so I'm thinking, maybe we'll have a good start. Silly fool, you, Carter. There'd be an illegal block against Winnipeg off the Calgary punt. Defensive pass interference against the Stampeders. Calgary would come back. They get themselves a big run, though, and they get themselves a field goal, go up 3-0. Bombers go on offense. The offense really struggled a little bit in this first half of this game until kind of the end of the second quarter. That's when they really started to kind of get a foothold on things. But the running game for a while struggled, and they eventually figured it out, but it took a bit of time. However, Caleres would get stacked, and then the Calgary Stampeders would get themselves their first touchdown of the game.
Mills breaks the first tackle and gets into the end zone.
I said first, but I guess it's technically first and only. But the convert would be good, and that would make this game 10-0 Stampeders. We would push down the field a bit. We would have a punt, and it would seem to go really poorly as it kind of like trailed off to the side and didn't really seem to get a lot of distance in the air. However, it hits the ground, and just by pure luck of the draw, it rolls right just barely into the end zone, and we would get a rouge, so that make it 10-1 for Calgary. Going into the second quarter, there'd be a holding penalty against the Stampeders. Jefferson would get himself a sack. I was very pleased, just because I was just kind of like, I want to see this defense kind of get rolling like it did last week. Defense had, like the offense, a bit of a rougher start, but got better as it went along. We would then give up that rouge, though, and make it 11-1 for the Stampeders. There'd be defensive pass interference against Winnipeg. And so it is what it is. Offense would get going. And this is where I'm starting to get worried, where I'm just kind of like, the offense kind of has to pick it up here, because at this point in time, it's like we don't want to go into half trail. I never like going into half trailing. I never, ever. Tie is okay. I want to go into halftime with a lead, but it is what it is. But this is a point where, like, we're midway through the second quarter. I'm thinking, like, offense kind of has to get going. We can't go through like a whole half game of nothing. Because you're now handicapping yourself if you're only going to be playing half a game of football. But it is what it is. Calgary would have an illegal block on the punt return. There was a lot of that for the Bombers and the Stamps. There probably was at least 5 illegal blocking penalties called, 3 of which were against the Bombers. And I was very frustrated with that. I'm like, okay, like the first one, not pleased about. The second one, come on, you should learn. Third one, this is getting ridiculous. Like, guys just know how to block properly. Like, there's no excuse for that. Simple. It would go back and forth a bit, but then there would be a no yards penalty against Calgary. Thankfully, we didn't take any of those. The Bombers would get themselves a field goal. They would make this 11-4 for the Stampeders. And then there would be an excellent sack by Willie Jefferson and Jackson Jeffcoat. The double effort.
Catch him! Yeah!
Jefferson and Jackson get the sack. Excellent work. We would go onto the offense again, and then Craig McRae would get himself a touchdown. I completely butchered McRae's name. My apologies. But the convert would be good. 11-11 tie. And we had actually gotten a few good completions leading up to this touchdown. And that was when I was just kind of like, okay, like we got something to work off of. Because for a while in this game, like if we're just looking at running game, we had like 20 rushing yards for like the first half of this game, I believe. So it's one of those things where there will come a point where you have to get the running game going. But if the running game's not working, got to at least get that ball in the air. Got to have something work. And then once you have that, you can throw in these running plays here and there. And then at that point, you can kind of, you can mix it up a bit and confuse the defense a little. But let's go into the third quarter of this game. It'll start back and forth for a bit. There nearly be a sack, but Collaros gets away from that. And then, so the Bombers would go on to defense. And Jefferson would go after Mayer. Mayer makes the throw. It would end up being an incomplete pass. But Jefferson had already committed to the tackle on Mayer, and he followed through with it. And for some reason, afterwards, went over and actually just hugged the referee. It was a really funny moment, and I was laughing my ass off. I just thought I've never seen that, as the referee looked so uncomfortable, confused, and a lot of things. But it's just Willie Jefferson just being a good dude. That's just honestly that Willie Jefferson. How can you, like? I understand if you don't like Willie Jefferson in the sense of you don't like playing against him, Willie Jefferson, for any non-Bomber fans. But as just a person, he's just a great guy. But then there would be a point in time in this third quarter where the game would start to get really repetitive, and it would be a point where if you were watching on TV, you would find it a little boring, as it would be. You'd get possession, you'd push it a little bit, stop, punt. Get possession, push a little, stop, punt. And that happened for like 4 straight possessions. There really wasn't much happening. But then Collaros would eventually get sacked, and then there would be a beautiful interception by Demario Houston. I almost said Houston Alexander. I don't even know what I was thinking. Demario Houston. And then at this point, this is kind of the first time we actually see us go into short yardage. We're at 3rd and 1. And Drew Brown, I don't believe, is dressed this game. But Dakota Prukop was. And we put him in for short yardage. And, man, it made me realize how much I miss Dakota Prukop in short yardage. He is just excellent. Like, I don't have to worry if he's going to get the 1 yard. He'll always get the 1 yard. Shit, he'll get 5. Like, Dakota Prukop is just excellent in short yardage, and we should never put Drew Brown in short yardage if Prukop is an option. He's just too good at it. There'd be a defensive pass interference against Calgary, and then Rasheed Bailey would get himself a touchdown for the Bombers. Rasheed Bailey gets the touchdown. The convert is good. 18-11 for the Bombers. I'm glad that we're finally ahead in this game. We have a lead. We would kick it off, and we would force a fumble. We would recover the ball, Bomber ball, except the guy, sadly, he went down with the ball before he lost possession of it. So therefore, no turnover. sadly, is what it is. But he was down. It just kind of sucked because it looked like we got a lot out of that, but it is what it is. And now Calgary is marching the field. And this is where I got a little concerned. I was like, now Calgary is marching the field. Fuck. Because I'm thinking, oh my God, we literally would have gotten a turnover there. But not only did we not get a turnover, but now Calgary's going down. Calgary gets, and I think they're on like the 42 or whatever. Rene Paredes of the Calgary Stampeders goes for the field goal. Misses it just barely. Which is a little bit rare for Rene Paredes, but it is a longer kick, so it's understandable. And McRae gets it. And McRae is like halfway in the end zone. And it looks like he's going to take a knee. You can tell, though, that he's trying to avoid that option. I mean, looks like somebody watched last night's game between the Edmonton Elks and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. That 1 point can be the entire difference in a game. And that point lost the Elks that game. So with it being a one-score game where they would theoretically just need one touchdown, if you're McRae, you're thinking, let's not do that. So he runs off to the side, looks for some room, gets at least past the 0, so he's not in the end zone, and then starts going upfield a bit. And I'm like thinking, great, we're not going to give up the point. I don't want to give up the point because it's still a one-score game. And he starts going. I'm like, yeah, that's good. Oh, yeah, great return. This will be good field. Oh, I guess it's going to be even better. He keeps going. McRae keeps going down the field. McRae, if you take into account where he was in the end zone, essentially runs over 100 yards. Unbelievable play by McRae.
He's wide.
That did not go through. Is that a field goal attempt?
Yeah. Oh, he's going. Oh, he's going. Oh, go,
Actually, surprising enough, for all the penalties that we took today, we took a decent amount of penalties. A lot of shooting ourselves in the foot in this game. Jeff Gray didn't take a single penalty for illegal procedure. Everybody clap your hands for Jeff Gray. Didn't take a single procedure penalty, which I was proud of. He normally takes many of those. It is what it is. But yeah, so and at this point, they actually take Mayer out and they put in Tommy Stevens. This is when you can tell that Calgary knows the game's over. It is what it is. Calgary would pressure. There would be a turnover on downs. And after some really good pressure by the D-line, this is when I was really starting to get very pleased with the D-line. I started this game not so pleased with the D-line. I finished this game pleased with it. As Mayer goes for the throw, and he's able to even just tip that ball. And even just being able to tip it, not necessarily even making the catch or the full block. Ugh. I'm sorry, it's late here in Winnipeg, but I have a video to record. But yeah, even just getting your ball on in some way is going to completely destroy the entire play, and might even getting a tip might actually possibly put your team in a decent position to make an interception on that play if you got someone in coverage there. We didn't at that point, but it's something where that's a very realistic possibility. I've seen it happen. But yeah, Calgary. So, and then interesting play enough. So there's not much time left. And Bombers drive forward with Brady Oliveira, just trying to kill the clock, essentially. And another great game by Brady Oliveira, but I mean, I'm starting to sound like a broken record at this point. And one of those, actually, I think it was one or two of the Stampeders players decided that the best idea for them was going to be going after Yoshi Hardrick after the play. They took a 15-yard face mask penalty. That's just a stupid, undisciplined play when the game is essentially over. And we would drive it a little bit forward until we were able to take a knee and knee it out, which we did. Although on one, I think it was the second down when we were going to, and this is just to take a knee to end the game. Caleros was a little slow on taking that knee, so it was technically a live ball, but the game was over. It was, it was very clear that we were just killing the clock. And so one of the defense on the Calgary decides that he's going to be a fucking idiot. and he's going to run around the play and try to just, like, it's just, there is nothing else he can do than start a fight here. This is exactly him doing that, because they're like, what is he going to do? Is he going to get a sack? You really think that even though those guys aren't standing there straight legged, that they're even going to let him anywhere near Zach Caleros? You're nuts. Like, there was like 3 guys around him at least. And that is disqualifying the offensive line from that equation. Like, that's not happening. And actually, the Stampeders took him off right immediately, and credit to them. That's just stupid and undisciplined, and just, you know, a bit of a metaphor for some of the Stampeders play this game. Although I will say the Bombers' discipline was not great either. Thankfully, they were able to stay at least out of the after the whistle shit. That is something that has always bothered me and will always continue to bother me whenever I see it, because it's just so unnecessary. It's so avoidable. And, you know, all you're going to do is handicap your own team. That is all you will ever accomplish from that. Let's say you punch a guy in the face mask. Are you proud of it? You're going to hurt your ham, or you're going to hurt his head. And then what you're going to do is you're going to be handicapping your own team, taking penalties, losing ground, losing yardage. And it's just, there's just no damn point. There's no damn point. But with the Bombers in this game, how do we feel? This all right. This all right. 24-11 victory over the Stampeders. At the end of the day, you know, the win is what you want. I think something I would like to see a bit better of is a bit of a better start. At least, like, even like, I understand that we're known more for our second half, and that's fine. But by the start of the second quarter, we should be past kind of the feeling out process. We should be kind of past that and at the point where we can actually start playing some good football. It is what it is. At the end of the day, as long as we get the W and we get the win, then I'll generally be pleased. Let me know what you guys thought of this game in the comment section down below. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe if you have not already. Make sure to subscribe to CFL Central if you have not already. And all of the socials for that, which I believe are down below. And I will see you guys next time.